Keller Dover, a religious man, and his son Ralph are driving back from a hunt. In the car, Keller explains to Ralph the importance of being prepared for disasters. Later, the Dovers head to their neighbor, the Birches, for Thanksgiving dinner. Nancy Birch and Anna Dover prepare dinner in the kitchen while Anna and Joy play. While Keller and Franklin Birch are setting up the table, Anna asks if they could go out to play. He agrees and asks them to go with Ralph. Outside, Anna and Joy start messing with an RV but are pulled away by Ralph and Eliza. After dinner, Anna asks the adults if she can take Joy back to the Dovers' house to find a whistle she misplaced. They get permission and rush off. Sometime later, Keller asks Ralph and Eliza where their sisters are, but they do not seem to know. Keller goes and searches his house but can't find them. He returns to the Birches, but no one knows where Anna and Joy are. Ralph remembers the RV they saw earlier and takes Keller to where it was parked, but it's gone. Keller calls the police in a panic. Detective Loki receives a call and sets off immediately to find the RV. He finds the RV, but as he approaches, it suddenly pulls away and crashes. As Loki inspects inside the RV, a hand waves from behind the curtain. Loki arrests Alex Jones, a young man. Loki interrogates him, but Alex denies all accusations. Later that night, Loki checks out Alex's aunt, Mrs. Holly's house, where Alex lives but finds nothing significant. Loki receives a report that the RV is clear of evidence and sends out a search team to look for the girls. The next day, Loki visits the Dovers' house. Grace tells Loki that she has been told he has solved every case he has worked on. Loki assures her he will find Anna and Joy. Grace breaks down as Keller enters the room. Loki informs Keller that no evidence has been found against Alex, leading Keller to raise questions. Loki says Alex has an IQ of a 10-year-old and there's no way he could have abducted 2 little girls and made them disappear. Keller gets angry and frustrated and asks Loki, how can Alex drive an RV if he has the IQ of a 10-year-old? Loki tries to calm Keller, assuring him the police are considering all possibilities and will do their job. As Loki is about to leave, Keller asks if Alex will be kept in custody until the girls are found. Loki tells him that Alex will be released soon if there are no formal charges. Later, Loki knocks at Father Patrick Dunn's door but gets no answer. He sees Father Patrick passed out and lying on the floor, so he goes inside. As he scans the area, he sees a hidden basement and decides to check. He finds a corpse tied to a chair and take a note of a maze pendant worn around the neck of the corpse. When Loki questions Father Patrick, he claims that he killed the man when he confessed to having kidnapped and killed several children. The father describes the man as waging a war against God. The next day, the search for the girls continues. Keller gets a call from Grace, informing him that Alex is being released. Keller goes and attacks Alex, demanding information. Alex whispers that the girls didn't cry until he left them, and Keller is dragged away. Captain Richard informs Keller that the police will overlook the attack but insists that he needs to go home. Keller wants Alex rearrested, but the captain advises him to update Loki about what Alex told him. Later, Loki visits Alex and Holly, asking if Alex has said anything to Keller. Alex denies it. Loki tells Alex that Aunt Holly could go to jail for a long time if he's not telling the truth. Convinced that Alex is telling the truth, he calls Keller to inform him that he's no longer considering Alex as a suspect and won't waste any more time on him. Keller goes to comfort Grace, who is in shambles and desperate for Anna to come home. He gives her some meds and asks Ralph to look after Grace while he goes to assist the police. Keller then drives to Holly's home and waits outside. Armed, he approaches Alex as he walks his dog and demands to know where he heard the Christmas jingle he was just singing. The next day, Keller and Franklin go to an old house his father left him. As they go inside, Franklin is shocked to see Alex in the bathroom gagged and bound. Franklin says they should take Alex to the police, but Keller insists they need to force Alex to talk or their daughters will be lost forever. We then hear a loud thud and Keller questioning Alex. Meanwhile, Loki is back at the station, reviewing old child disappearance cases. He follows a new lead and speaks with Mrs. Millen, whose child was abducted 26 years ago, very close to where Alex's RV was first sighted. At the old house, Alex is tortured by Keller in an attempt to make him confess. He punches his face until he bleeds, but Alex says nothing. Then he gets a hammer out and threatens to use it on him. He breaks the sink and the wall to intimidate Alex, but he still keeps mum. Later, Loki goes to the candlelight vigil for the 2 missing girls. He notices a man in a hood, Bob Tyler, acting rather suspiciously. He quickly leaves, but Loki follows him and takes off in pursuit when Bob starts to run. Loki ends up losing him. The next day, Franklin and Nancy see Bob on the news as a new suspect. Franklin and Keller then go to the old house to interrogate Alex again. Franklin does not want this to go on, but Keller is convinced that Alex and Bob know each other and is determined to uncover the truth. Meanwhile, Loki informs Captain Richard that Alex never returned home after walking his dog a few nights earlier. Loki questions why Alex wasn't under surveillance as he promised and insists on knowing the whereabouts of everyone involved. He rewatches his interrogation of Alex, hoping to find new information but gets a call regarding info on Bob. When Franklin returns home, Nancy questions him about his whereabouts. Franklin breaks down and confesses everything to her. Nancy confronts Keller about holding Alex hostage and demands to see him. Nancy gets overwhelmed seeing the condition of Alex. She unties his hand and asks him to help them find the children. Alex tries to escape from the window, but Keller comes in and tackles him. During the night, Bob sneaks into the Birch's house and escapes the Dover's house when he hears a car pulling up. Grace hears shuffling coming from Anna's bedroom, and after searching the room, she discovers her own bedroom window has been opened. She reports the break-in, which is investigated by Loki. Loki notices that Grace is under the influence of prescription drugs and writes the incident down in his note. The next day, Loki tails Keller and follows him around town to the old house. Keller notices Loki and confronts him. Loki asks where he's going, and Keller lies, saying he's going to the store. Loki reveals he knows Keller hasn't been helping the police as he told Grace. He informs Keller that Alex is missing, to which Keller says maybe Alex left town because he's guilty. Keller becomes enraged, demanding Loki focus on finding his daughter and stop following him. Desperate, Keller returns to Alex and tortures him with hot water to extract information but gets nothing. Outside, Loki arrives at the house. Keller rushes downstairs and lies down on the floor as Loki enters. As Keller shows Loki around the house, Loki receives a call about Bob and rushes off, leaving Keller with a sigh of relief. Bob answers the door to Loki but tries to escape again. After restraining him, Loki investigates the house, which has drawings of mazes all over the walls, and finds several boxes in a room. He opens it and finds snakes with bloodied clothes inside. In one of the boxes, he finds a file with drawings of mazes. Later, Loki informs Keller that Bob confessed to killing the girls, but they haven't found any bodies. The Birches identify some of Joy's clothing found in the crates. Keller recognizes one of Anna's socks and breaks down, blaming Loki for letting this happen. At the station, Loki watches Bob drawing mazes. Loki enters the room and asks Bob what he's drawing. When he does not answer, Loki beats him. During the scuffle, Bob grabs a gun from one of the officers and whispers, "It's okay," before pulling the gun in his mouth. Keller goes back to his old house and prays for forgiveness. He tells Alex he doesn't know what to do anymore, but is convinced Alex knows where the little girls are. Alex cryptically says he will find the girls in the maze. Desperate, Keller demands to know where the maze is, but Alex doesn't provide any more information. Keller then goes to Holly's house to find out more. He pretends to apologize for what he did to Alex the other day. He strikes up a conversation with her and gets to know that Holly's son died of cancer and adopted Alex before her husband disappeared. Meanwhile, Captain Richard tries to comfort Loki for not solving the case in time, while Loki keeps staring at the maze Bob drew. Loki comes back to his desk and lashes out in frustration. He then notices the pendant on the corpse he found at Father Patrick's house, which is similar to the maze Bob drew. He gets a call and Loki rushes to Bob's house. He is informed that most of the evidence found is fake and the mazes are just copies. Loki insists there's a connection and questions how Bob got Anna and Joy's clothes and the similarity between the pendant from the corpse and the maze drawings. Then he remembers the incident Grace reported and checks his notes. Loki goes to the Dover's house and discovers Bob's footprints and one sock. In the next scene, Grace gets a call, and as Keller pulls up to the house, she rushes out, announcing that Joy has been found but not Anna. They rush to the hospital to join Franklin and Nancy. Keller asks Joy if she knows where they were taken and how far it is. Joy has a flashback of how they tried to escape, but Anna got caught and she gets rescued. She says that Keller was at the place where they were held captives. Keller goes off realizing where he went the other day. On the way out, he sees Loki coming and quickly runs off, making Loki go after him. Losing him, Loki heads to the old house where he hears Alex crying in pain. Meanwhile, Keller heads to Holly's house to find Anna on the pretext of fixing things around the house as an apology. Once inside, he accuses Holly of having the girls there. Holly points a weapon at him and forces him to put on handcuffs and drink a sedative. She then leads Keller to a pit in the ground. She says that before her husband disappeared, they abducted children as part of their war on God to avenge their son's death of cancer, and to create demons out of the traumatized parents. Alex Jones was their first abduction and Bob Tyler was their second. She admits that Alex never harmed Anna or Joy, but that she decided to take them. She shoots his leg and forces him inside, sealing it shut and promising to reunite him with his daughter. Keller, struggling in the hole, finds Anna's whistle. Meanwhile, Loki goes to Holly's house to inform her that Alex has been found, but he discovers a photo of her late husband wearing the maze pendant. He realizes that the corpse found in Father Patrick's basement is Holly's husband. Realizing that Holly is the kidnapper, he searches the house and finds her giving Anna an injection. Loki has his gun pointed at her, but Holly gets up and shoots at him. Loki kills Holly but is grazed in the head. Despite his injury, he rushes Anna to the hospital, struggling to stay conscious. At the hospital, Loki reads that Alex reunited with his real family and Keller is still missing. Grace comes in and thanks Loki for his help, but also asks if Keller, who is still missing, will go to jail if found. Loki responds, probably. At Holly's house, a police team digging in the yard packs up for the night, informing Loki that the frozen ground means it will take weeks to excavate the entire area. As Loki prepares to leave, he hears a faint sound of a whistle, initially dismissing it. He then hears it more distinctly and the screen fades to black. Do you think Keller was ever found?